Every person has one story in their life that they can never forget, no matter how hard they try. My name is Alina Morty, and this is my story, a story I could never erase, even after 19 long years. It all happened back in 2006, when my mother and I moved from Florence to a small village called Borgavine. It was my mother's hometown. My grandparents once lived there. At that time, I was just 19. My father had left us for another woman. Since then, it was only my mother and me. Not long before we moved, I had a terrible motorcycle accident. When I recovered, we decided to leave Florence behind and start over in Borgavine. After my grandparents passed away, everything they owned went to my mother. They had been respected people, and their old house stood near the edge of the village, beside the open fields. It was a big 2-story house, quiet and a little too lonely. I took the room upstairs. I loved sitting by the window, watching the rain fall across the fields. Behind the house, there was a small lake. You could reach it by walking through the garden. But soon, strange things began to happen. One night, I was sitting by the window, watching the rain. Then suddenly, I saw a woman standing right below my window. She was staring straight at me, with anger in her eyes, dark circles under them, and worst of all, her throat was cut open. Blood was dripping down her neck. I froze. Then she screamed, a scream so cold, it felt like my soul left my body. I ran downstairs to my mother. "Mom, there's a woman outside the window. She looks horrible." My mother rushed upstairs. She looked, but no one was there. She said softly, "Maybe you're still weak, Alina. After the accident, your mind might be playing tricks." I said, "No, Mom, she was real." But she didn't believe me. The next day, I tried to distract myself. I wanted to go out, walk near the fields, maybe swim in the lake. But Mom didn't let me. "You're still not strong enough," she said. So I stayed home. That night, I couldn't sleep. The TV was broken. Rain was falling again. So I sat by the window once more. Then I saw something. This time, it wasn't a woman. It was a man, standing right under the window. His throat was also cut, and in his hand, he was holding my cat. He looked at the cat, and then he started chewing its head. I screamed, ran downstairs again. Mom came running. When she entered my room, the cat was lying dead on the floor. She looked outside and shouted, "Go tell your master we're not leaving this house. Leave us alone." I was shocked. "Mom, who are you talking to?" I asked. She said, "He works for your uncle, your father's brother. They want this property. They'll do anything to scare us away." I said, "But Mom, they didn't look alive. They looked dead." Mom said quietly, "Dead people don't come back, Alina. Go to sleep. Stay away from the window." But 4 nights later, it happened again. While I was asleep, something fell on my chest. I opened my eyes and saw the same dead cat. I screamed and kicked it away. It rolled across the floor and ran out through the open window. I went to shut the window, and then I saw something. Mom's car, parked near the lake. She was pulling a body from the trunk. The man's hands and feet were tied. I hid behind a tree. Mom dragged him into the garden, laid him down, and started chanting strange words. Her voice didn't sound human. Then she lifted a knife and slit his throat. Blood poured into a silver bowl. She placed it inside an old wooden chest. I couldn't move. I was trembling. Then she tied a rock to the body and pushed it into the lake. When she turned around, her eyes met mine. I hid behind the tree, but the next moment, she was standing right behind me. I fainted. When I woke up, she was sitting beside me. She said softly, "You must be wondering why, right? He was going to kill us, Alina." I did what I had to do. I wanted to believe her, but something inside me broke. I remembered what Grandpa once said. Your mother is not an ordinary woman. She practices black magic. Maybe he was right. Days passed, and one night, Mom came home again with another person in the car. This time, it was a little girl, barely 8 years old. She took her into the garden. I wanted to stop her, but she was my mother. I couldn't move. A few nights later, I saw that same girl standing outside the window. Her throat was cut, her eyes filled with anger. She threw a stone at the window. I shut the curtains in fear. That's when I understood. All the people I saw, the ones with slit throats, they were her sacrifices. My mother was performing rituals, offering lives to bring someone back. I began to hate her. One night, I confronted her. Mom, stop this. Enough. How many more innocent lives? She just said, when the time comes, you'll understand. Now stay quiet. But she didn't stop. One night, she came home again with another girl in the car. When I looked closer, my heart stopped. It was my best friend, Sophia. I ran to Grandpa's old room, grabbed his shotgun, and ran to the garden. Mom was holding a knife. I screamed, "Mom, don't do it. Let her go." She turned to me and said, "This is the last sacrifice, Alina. Look, the red moon has risen. If I don't finish this tonight, everything will be lost." I said, "She's innocent, Mom." "Yuka." She looked at me, eyes full of tears. "Will you shoot your own mother?" I didn't answer. She raised the knife, and as she moved towards Sophia, I pulled the trigger. The shot hit her face. She fell to the ground, trembling, then stopped moving. I freed Sophia. She screamed when she saw Mom's body and ran away. I called her, but she didn't look back. Then my eyes fell on that old wooden chest, the one filled with blood. I broke the lock and opened it. Inside was my own body, the same scars from my motorcycle accident. That's when I realized I had already died back then. My mother wasn't a witch. She was trying to bring me back to life. Each sacrifice was for me, and tonight, the last one would have brought me back completely. But I killed her. I cried for hours. The woman I called a monster was actually my savior. Now, I live here in the same house with my mother, both of us forever trapped between life and death. If you liked this story, then subscribe and press the bell icon for the next story.